Practicing at home can sometimes be tough. Most of us wake up in the morning and we go to work all day, we get home, spend time with our families, and oftentimes the only time that we get to practice is at night, which can be a problem if you rely on playing through speakers or even just going through the hassle of getting all your cabling out, going into your interface, pulling up your DAW. So I'm really excited to talk about the Slow Gear Electronics headphone amp today because I think it really solves a lot of these problems. And despite the small size, there's actually a lot of cool stuff going on here. So I'm gonna walk through everything that this guy can do. First off, what's cool about this and what I think really separates this from a lot of other headphone amps out there is that this is designed to live on your pedal board. It operates exactly how you would expect a headphone amp to operate, but what's really unique about this is this aux control right here, which we'll touch on here in a second. But as far as the actual monitoring itself, it's super clean. There is a ton of volume and a ton of power in this thing, so it really has enough juice to power any type of headphones that you might have. Now, like I mentioned, this is designed to live on your pedal board. So you can see here, it's got stereo inputs right here, and I've actually got this knob here flipped to stereo. So for me, I have this placed right after my amps. I'm using two Iridiums right now, but maybe you have a mono signal, or maybe you don't even want to put this on your pedal board. That's totally okay. You can flip this to mono and just go through the left input and you can monitor from there. But maybe you don't even play guitar. Maybe you play keys or you're trying to monitor your vocals. You can use this for that as well. This high and low gain switch right here flips between an instrument level and line level. But I want to bring us back to the two stereo inputs. The thing that's really nice about this is a lot of people these days are running two amp modelers. So like me, like I mentioned a second ago, I'm running two Iridiums right now. But some of you out there like to run your wet effects after your amps, and that kind of leaves you in this place where you can't monitor yourself unless you go into your DAW, which can be a little bit of a headache. So this solves that problem because you can just put this right after your wet effects and monitor from there. There's also a lot of amp modelers out there that don't have an onboard headphone jack, like the Universal Audio Dream and Ruby, which a lot of people are running these days. So if you find yourself in that boat, it's also really handy to have something like this too. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, Sam, you have two Iridiums and they have a headphone jack. Why would you need something like this if you can already monitor out of those? And there's a few big reasons for that, but I think the biggest reason for me is this polarity switch right here, which is really nice because a lot of modelers these days, for some reason, by default, they are out of phase. And so you either need to correct the phase at front of house if you're playing at church, or somewhere in your DAW, you need to install the plugin, flip the polarity from there. So it's really, really handy to have something on your pedal board that you can just fix it from the source. But the most useful thing about this is the aux in control right up here. You can go aux into this headphone amp. So you can plug in a computer, or better yet, you can plug in your phone. And so when you get scheduled on Planning Center and you need to sit down and practice, you can just plug directly into this and play along to the songs, making it super, super easy to practice for a Sunday. So right now I'm actually recording out of the headphone jack so you can hear exactly what I'm hearing. They actually designed this so that the routing of the headphone out and then the regular left and right out are completely different. So anything that's coming in through that aux in is not going to come through on just the regular left and right out. But it's super straightforward. It's really simple to just bend down and adjust more or less of your mix if you need it, and also this aux control to adjust how much of the mix you need. It is actually really handy though that you can adjust the volume from your device. So I could actually see some people putting this underneath their pedal board and just having the two 1/8 inch jacks accessible maybe from the side of your board with something like a Temple audio board where you can just punch out those holes. What I think kind of changes the game with this though is that it's not just useful for practice. There's actually a lot of use in a live setting for this thing too. Another way you can use this is to set up your in-ear monitor mix to come in through the aux in, and then you can just monitor yourself and the band with the headphones out. If you were to go this route, the aux control would kind of be like an all band level where you could lower it and raise it. And then this regular volume knob could just be yourself. And again, like I mentioned before, if you're going out through the left and right outputs, anything that's coming in through the aux in is not routed. So the only signal that front of house is gonna get is just your guitar. And speaking of the outputs, I should mention that these are two buffered outs. So if you're adjusting your volume mix, you're not gonna get any crazy volume increases or decreases going to either front of house or your DAW. Now, I know there wasn't too much playing in this video, but I have another video right here where I do a bit of a deep dive into the dual Iridium setup and compare it to just a single Iridium to see what the difference is and if it's really that much better to run two modelers versus just one. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check this video out over here and I will see you there.